Hey guys, we have fresh news and updates, new pictures, and of course, I'm here to share them with you. So, character design, as you remember, is a storytelling tool as much as it is an artistic endeavor. Every line, color, and detail contributes to perception of a character before they even speak. In the Blood of Dawnwalker, Bakir stands as a striking, enigmatic figure, and his visual identity is rich with symbolism, historical influences, and thematic weight. This analysis will break down his design through 5 key aspects, as usual. We will have visual hierarchy, symbolism, cultural references, body language and expressions, genre and world-building context, and archetype along with psychological analysis. Whew, let's start talking. The name Bakir has origins in both Turkish and Arabic, meaning copper in Turkish and coming early or firstborn in Arabic. While this name appears in various cultures, it doesn't inherently tie Bakir to a specific ethnic group. To determine his likely origins, we must turn into his appearance, clothing, and the historical context of his background. A critical clue lies in his trophy mask, a kapak or niqab. It's a Turkic Kipchak war mask that was worn by soldiers of Akkuyunlu, Karakuyunlu, Ottoman, Timurid, Safavid, and other Turkic dynasties. If we dive a bit deeper to theorize Bakir's life path, we can find a historically accurate description of the Kipchaks. The Kipchaks were a Turkic nomadic people and confederation that existed in the Middle Ages, inhabiting parts of the Eurasian steppe. They most likely inhabited the Altai region, from where they expanded over the following centuries, first as part of the Kimek Khanate and later as part of a confederation with the Cumans. There were groups of Kipchaks in the Pontic-Caspian steppe, China, Sirdaria, and Siberia. The Mongol Empire conquered Cumania in the early 13th century. Bakir is carrying this mask as a trophy, of course. It strongly suggests he fought against the Cumans and other Turkic warriors, likely as part of Mongol forces. If Bakir spent decades galloping across the dry steppes of Central Asia, burning, trampling, and pillaging, he would fit the profile of a Mongol warrior from the height of their expansion. Possibly a member of the Mongol hordes that swept through the Eurasian steppe, destroying Cuman settlements and taking trophies from fallen enemies. Thus, Bakir is a Mongol warrior who saw conflict with the Kipchaks and Turkic peoples, taking their artifacts as spoils of war. Bakir's design unmistakably aligns with Mongolian influences. His fur-lined pointed hat and layered clothing resemble traditional Mongolian attire, which historically followed strict rules based on status, function, and climate adaptation. Meanwhile, the mask symbolized status, intimidation, and warriors' resilience against death. We can say that, given Bakir's imposing presence, this mask likely serves the same purpose: to strike fear into his enemies and project the image of an unstoppable force. If he comes from a Mongol-influenced background, the mask reinforces his role as an agent of war and domination, much like the Mongol generals who swept across the known world in the 13th century. The eye is naturally drawn to the brightest and most dominant elements of a character's design, and Bakir's presence is impossible to ignore. The first focal point is his trophy mask, an intimidating war mask that immediately signals his identity as a warrior or a warlord. The mask's dark metallic sheen and the sharp, almost animalistic angles imply aggression, a sense of the predatory. His clothing and accessories reinforce this impression. The pointed, fur-lined hat draws attention upward, giving him a commanding, larger-than-life silhouette. The red and black color scheme is also carefully chosen, with red symbolizing fire and blood, while black carries connotations of death and war in Mongolian culture. By the way, the Mongolian culture pays a lot of attention to colors, and they have their own system of meaning behind them that deeply reflects their traditions and beliefs. Bakir's design is heavily influenced by the nomadic warrior cultures of Eurasia, particularly the Kipchaks, Mongols, and Turkic tribes. His tattoos tell their own story. The three crossed arrows traditionally symbolize unity and protection in Mongolian culture. However, in the context of Bakir's character, this could be subverted, representing a forced unity under his rule. Who knows, maybe it's that, or it's still something more honorable like the three arrows legend that teaches the power of unity. A single arrow is easily broken, but three bundled together are unbreakable, symbolizing the strength found in togetherness, or perhaps a reminder of alliances forged through conquest while he was human. Meanwhile, his two-horse tattoo is also a curious detail. It echoes the Mongolian saying, "A Mongol without a horse is like a bird without wings." This could indicate that Bakir views himself as inseparable from his nomadic roots, or that he places immense value on mobility and adaptability in battle. As a vampire, though, he doesn't need a horse anymore, but traditions are sacred nonetheless. The color symbolism of his outfit is equally revealing. In Mongolian culture, red signifies power, victory, fire, and blood, elements central to Bakir's persona. Black is associated with war, death, and the hellish world, reinforcing his role as a herald of destruction. Green, present in some of his accents, represents life through plants in the steppe, growth, but also decay. Perhaps hinting at his ability to build something new, only to tear it down for fun. The pointed hat is also a nod to Mongolian traditions, where certain headgear denoted rank and status. The addition of fur suggests that he either hails from or has conquered cold, harsh regions, adding another layer to his implied backstory. Having a closer look at the embroidery of his attire, we can see many cultural symbols, and I can't thank enough this old website that has patterns and symbols of different nomad people. It's amazing, guys. I'll leave a link to it in the description, because if you are interested in the historical side of the game, you must check these pictures out. So, Mongolians describe ornamental figures in three different ways. Animal ornamental patterns with geometric motifs that are called ki, or pattern, ornamental patterns with round curved grooves, they are called ugels or scrolls, and ornamental patterns with dualistic features are called agrabilig, or spiral patterns. I couldn't find the exact ornament, but many mixed details resemble the endless knot, floral, plant, and dragon motifs, and course-like rosettes. All of that solidifies my expectation to see a character that is deeply connected to his traditions of growing and conquering. You know, conquer humans, grow humans, drink humans' blood. Profit! He is somewhat of a businessman, you see. Bakir's stance and body language reinforce the idea that he is a force of nature. His poses lean more toward fluidity and movement, which could imply a more unpredictable chaotic energy, someone who revels in destruction rather than simply commands it. His gaze is particularly important. A character's eyes and face expression in general can reveal their underlying nature. Bakir's stare is cold, hungry, and unflinching. He is a calculated predator and his menace is purposeful. The trailer shows that he carries a more manic quality, suggesting that he enjoys conflict because he likes toying with his opponent as a way of life. To fully understand Bakir's role, we must place him within the world of the Blood of Dawnwalker. This game, steeped in dark fantasy elements, draws from historical inspirations while weaving in supernatural and mythical themes. In such a setting, Bakir could function as one of the following: the conquering warlord, as a leader of a violent, expansionist faction driven by a belief in survival of the fittest. Eat or be eaten, Other one is the embodiment of chaos, a character with no fixed ideology beyond reveling in war and destruction. And the third is the corruptor, someone who takes existing structures and warps them either through fear or brute force. His Kipchak and Mongolian influences suggest he is not a mere warlord but one shaped by a nomadic, conquest-driven culture. This could mean his presence in the game marks shifting borders, the rise of an empire, or the fall of another civilization. Character archetypes help us predict a character's narrative trajectory. Based on his design and themes, Bakir most closely aligns with three main behavioral models. The first one is the warlord, a conqueror driven by might, ambition, or ideology. The second is the tyrant, an oppressor who rules through fear and dominance. And the third and the last, the trickster-warrior hybrid. If Bakir enjoys the chaos he causes, he could embody elements of the trickster, reveling in unpredictability and destruction for their own sake. Each of these archetypes would shape his role differently. A tyrant or warlord could be a long-term antagonist, one who commands vast armies and whose defeat signifies the end of a major conflict. A trickster-warrior hybrid would make him less predictable. He would be a character who changes allegiances, plays with his enemies, or wages war for reasons beyond simple conquest. It's a monster who is nearly impossible to reason with. Alright guys, let's start the discussion. Bakir is not merely a character, he is a statement. His design weaves together history, mythology, and cultural symbolism to create an antagonist who embodies destruction, dominance, and perhaps even the inevitability of war itself. His presence in the Blood of Dawnwalker is not just of a villain, but of an elemental force. One whose motivations, aesthetics, and actions will leave a lasting impression on the game's world and its players. But hey, let me know what you think. There might be details that I missed and insights that stayed hidden. So, as I see it, understanding Bakir means understanding the philosophy of his creators and the game itself. We see that great antagonists are not merely obstacles, but reflections of power, chaos, and force of nature itself. As I once said in this video, eat or be eaten. have fun, play video games, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!